We want to look at the section where we graph linear equations using intercepts. You'll find this under section 3.3. So let's go with 3.3. Graphing linear equations using intercepts. First off, let's understand what an intercept is all about. So, intercept. So this is a point where a given line crosses either the x-axis or the y-axis. That means that there are two unique intercepts. That is, we have the x and the y intercepts. Let's look at what the x-intercept is all about. X-intercept. So this is the point. This is the point where the given line crosses the x-axis. Now you realize that here, the line intercept at a particular x value. Particular x value. But the corresponding y value is always 0. Is 0. And like all other points or other ordered pair, we need to have an x value and a y value. Okay, so the point, or what we call the ordered pair, created is something like this. So note that you have a particular x value because the line intercepts the x-axis at a particular value, which you should be able to identify, but the corresponding y value is going to be 0 at all times. What about the y-intercept? So similarly, this is where a given line crosses the y-axis. At this point, a y value should be read, and the corresponding x value x value is always 0. This gives the ordered pair zero comma y. So we can note this on a very simple sketch. If we have something like that, and something like this. Let's say this is going that way. That goes that way. That goes that way. Goes that way. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Let's assume that we have this line going through it and intersects at this particular point here and this point here. So here you have a particular y value here. You should be able to identify it. And then you have a particular x value here. And so the point that is created, which is the ordered pair, is nothing more than the x that we can be able to read. And then the y value is 0. Again, with this here, the point that is created is x is 0 and the y that we can identify. So this is what we call the intercept. In this case here, this is your x-intercept. And that here is your y-intercept. Okay, so it is very easy to identify. Again, the intercept is nothing more than a given line crossing either the x-axis or the y-axis. And the moment it crosses the x-axis, you have your x-intercept. So at that particular point where there's an intersection, you have to be able to read the x value there. But the y value of that point is going to be 0 at all times. Similarly, if the given line crosses the y-axis, it has to cross the y-axis at a particular y value that you should be able to read it. The corresponding x value is rather 0, and this is in all cases. Okay, so this is what the intercept is all about. Let's do some examples. Identify the intercepts of the equation 2x plus 4y equal -8. So you got to recall here that if you are looking for x-intercept, set y to 0. If you're looking for y-intercept, set x to 0. So this is what we're going to be using to find the intercept of this linear equation. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. So I'm going to look for my x-intercept. For x-intercept, y is 0. So I'm going to go to the equation. The equation is 2x plus 4y equal -8. So all that I do is I keep my 2x, 4 times y. Well, remember that for x-intercept, my y is 0. So I substitute 0 for y there, equal -8. 2x, 4 by 0 is 0. And that should be equal to -8. Anything added to 0 is the same thing. So 2x plus 0 is 2x. Should be equal to -8. And then I need to solve for x. Because 2 multiplies x, to get rid of 2, I need to divide both sides by 2. So here we go. 2x, 2, -8 over 2. And I can easily cross out the 2's. I'll be left with x, and -8 divided by 2 is -4. Okay, so that tells me then that the x-intercept, which should be an ordered pair, is my x value is -4. And remember that the y value was 0. So that will be your x-intercept. Okay. What about y? Y-intercept, set x equals 0. So again, I'm using the same equation, 2x plus 4y equal -8. And I'm going to replace the x in this equation with 0 or by 0. So it will be 2 times 0 plus 4y equal -8. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 4y equal -8. 0 plus anything is anything. In other words, it doesn't change. So 0 plus 4y is going to be 4y equal -8. And then what I got to do here to solve for y will be to divide both sides by 4. You can easily cross out the 4's, and I will be left with my y. And -8 divided by 4 gives me -2. Therefore, my y-intercept is, remember, x was 0, so 0. And then the value of y that we just solved for will be that. So pretty much this is how you're going to go about solving for the intercepts of any given linear equation. Let's do another example. Find the intercepts for the equation x minus 2y equal 7. Same idea. I'm going to start with the x-intercept. Remember, the mere mention of x-intercept means that you're looking for some x value. And to get that value, you need to set y equal 0. Okay, so x-intercept, y should be set to 0. Okay, so what it means is that I'm going to go to the given equation and I set y equals 0 there. So that gives me something like that. And that'll give me 0. X minus 0 is going to be x. So x will be equal to 7. And therefore, my x-intercept is nothing more than the x value, comma, y value 0. Similarly, go to another page. Similarly, for y-intercept, set x equal 0. All right, again, remember that we are using the same equation, x minus 2y equal 7. So I'm just going to replace every x with 0 and solve for y. So it's going to be 0 minus 2y equal 7. Now, anytime you subtract something from 0, your result is always going to be the negative of that something. Okay, so 0 minus 4 is going to give you negative 4. So in that wise, what it means is 0 minus 2y is going to give me negative 2y. And that should be equal to 7. And again, if I want to solve for y, I need to divide both sides by negative 2. And as I do that, I'm going to have my y to be negative 7 over 2. And therefore, my y-intercept is, remember, the x was 0 from the beginning, and the y value is what we just got, which is negative 7 over 2. You can pause the video. So pause the video, pause and try. Okay. Pause and try. Find the intercepts for the equation two x minus 5y equals 0. So you can pause the video and try this. And the answer will be this. When you try, your x-intercept will be Remember y x-intercept y is 0, so that should give you -2 here. Y-intercept will be 0. X-intercept y is 0, so that will give me 5 here. Sorry about that. So that will be 5 here, and that will rather be -2. So try it, check. Okay. Now let's look at how we can graph. So let's look at how we can graph. How to graph. So first off, we need to find the x and y intercepts. Okay, just as usual, just find the x and y intercepts. And then 2, what you're going to do is you want to plot. Remember that the intercepts are points. Okay, they are ordered pair. And so once you get the x and the y intercepts, you go to your graph and then you try to plot these points. So plot the points. Obtained in step 1. And then what you got to do next will be to now draw or join the points to have what we call a line of best fit. Best fit. A line of best fit. Okay. It's not too hard. Once you get your intercepts, you should be able to graph. So let's look at a couple of examples here. Use the intercepts. Use the intercepts to graph the equation 3x minus y equal 3. So let's go. We need to get an intercept. So I'm going to start with x-intercept. X-intercept, remember that y will be 0. So I'm going to set y to be 0. So that means I'm going to have 3x minus y, which is 0, equal 3. 3x minus 0 is 3x, equal 3. And if I need to solve for x, I divide both sides by 3. And the 3 will cross out and be left with x. 3 divided by 3, that is 1. And so I will have my other pair, which is my x-intercept, to be 1, comma 0. So this is my x-intercept. X-intercept. Then y-intercept. I need to set x equals 0 and solve for y. So similarly, we are using 3x minus y equal 3. So all that I do is I set x equals 0 here, minus y equal 3. 3 times 0 is 0, minus y equal 3. Remember, when you subtract anything from 0, your result will be the same, but a negative. So here we're going to have negative y equal 3. Now, we need to solve for y, but there's a minus here. In other words, there's a negative 1 here. So I need to divide both sides by negative 1, just so that I can get rid of this negative. And so that will be left with y, and this will be 3 over negative 1, which basically is negative 3. So now y is negative 3 here, and my y-intercept is basically 0, comma negative 3. So now I need to use my intercepts to graph. Okay. So let's see how we can do that. So let's say I have my x, my y axis here, and I have my x axis here. So it's just a sketch. So y-axis here, your x-axis here. Now, we got 2 points or 2 ordered pairs out of our intercepts. The first one we had was, if I scroll a little bit, we had 1, comma 0 as our x-intercept, and then we had 0. So the other pairs here, we had 1, comma 0 and 0, comma 3, comma negative 3. Okay, so how do you get your graph? You want to look at the scale now in terms of what the x and the y values are. Now, in this particular 2 points here, the highest value of x is 1. The highest value of y is 0. Okay, the smallest value of y is negative 3. Okay, and remember that by the system, as you move from the origin and you go to the top, as if you're going to the north, the y values are always positive. And then when you move down, the y values are negative. Similarly, it's the same for x. On the right side of the origin, you get a positive values, and then on the left, you get negative values. So basically, that is what it is. So I'm going to assume that this is 1 here for x. It's my 1. And the y, I need to be able to locate the negative 3. and I want my graph to be a little bit bigger. So let me get rid of this here and extend it a little bit down. It's not going to be perfect, but let's see what we get here. So let's say that this is -1, -2, and this is -3. -2, -1. So this is the origin. This is where both the x and the y they meet at. This particular point, the other pair is going to be 0, 0. Okay. So all that I need to do will be to locate this intercept and then join the points. Now remember that when we talk about intercept, the points or the other pair will be on the axes. In other words, you're going to have 2 points on both axes, the x-axis and the y-axis. The x-intercept is where you find a point on the x-axis, and the y-intercept is where you find a point on the y-axis. So the first intercept that we got was x-intercept 1, 0. 1, 0. Now, in all cases, the point has to be on the 1 because that is where we identify our x value. And then when we come to the y-intercept, it was 0, -3. The point has to be on the -3. So here we go. So we have created 2 points here. So all that we do would just be to join these 2 and that will form our line. I'm not going to be able to draw out this perfectly, but let's see how it goes. See how it goes. Just draw this line through it, and you can just extend the ends, and you should be all set. Something like that. Over. Again, this is not perfect. Something like this. That will be your line. So this is how we graph. This is how we graph the given line was 3x minus y equals 0. We found the x-intercept by setting y equals 0. And we solve for x. That gives us our x-intercept 1, 0. And then we also did the same for y-intercept where we set x equals 0, plug it back into the equation, and then we try to solve for y. And as we did that, we had 0, -3. Now these 2 ordered pairs, these 2 points, we can easily graph. Okay, we just have to locate the points on the axes, these 2 axes, and then try to join them with a sharp edge to form a graph. Let me do one more example. Graph the line 2x plus 3y equals 6 by using the intercepts. Okay, so it's pretty much very, very easy. Let's look at the solution here. X-intercept first, x-intercept. It means we are setting what y to 0. So it's just going to be 2x plus 3y, but y is 0, equals 6. 2x plus 0. 3 times 0 is 0. And then 2x plus 0 is going to be 2x. And then to get our x value, we divide both sides by 2. So x is going to be 3. So the x-intercept is 3, 0. Let's look at y-intercept. Y-intercept, we set x equals 0. Remember, we're using 2x plus 3y equals 6. So I'm just going to set the x to 0 and then try to solve for y. 2 times 0 is 0 plus 3y equals 6. 0 plus 3y is 3y. And then I need to solve for y by dividing through by 3. So if I do that, I'm going to have 2. So my y-intercept is nothing more than 0, 2. So once I get that, I just graph. So let's see how to graph that. Put it anywhere, let's say here. Let's do somewhere here. This is my y, this is my x. Remember that we have two ordered pair. If you go up here, the y-intercept is 0, 2. So the ordered pairs are 3, 0 and 2, 0. So again, you have to look at a scale, especially if you want your graph to be a little bit larger. You have to look at it carefully. Now, for any given graph, if the graph paper has already been provided, you want to stay within that particular graph. And again, you don't want to be getting a lot of decimals for any of these coordinates. Okay, so be very careful here as you do this. All right, so here the y value, oh, sorry about that. I think this is 3, 0, and 0, 2. That's what we had about there. Yeah, 0, 2. So 0, 2. So the y value, the highest is 2. So let me do this as here. Let's say this is 1, and that is 2, somewhere there. And then for the x, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Those are the highest values for x and y. So for the x-intercept, I need to be here. This will be the point. And for the y-intercept, I need to be here. Okay. Then all that I do is I join these 2 points. And then I just extend them. with an arrow, basically. And that's it. So this is your line. It's basically the line 2x plus 3y equals 6. Hope this video helps you out in working through your homework assignment. I'll do another video for the other sessions. Thank you.